Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Perspective with Viv podcast. My name is Viv, and welcome to the show. Season 4, bitches. Season 4. I said I was not going to use the word no, that's a lie. Each time, this is season 4, let's be real with each other because we're besties. I always try and say less swearing, less B word, but whatever comes out of this mouth, I just allow it. Allow me. This is the Perspective with Viv podcast, and this is season 4. Today is the 30th of April 2024. And let me tell you something, 2024 has been so far a wonderful year. Life is good, life is great. New timeline, new hair. Hello, people. Anyway, so what I want to do and talk about today, while I introduce the topic, is healing. So today's topic is called H for healing. Hello. Now, as a Yoruba girl from Ibadan, is it H or H? Because let me tell you something, haters gonna hate. Some say some laughed when I said H, which I really think is the correct word. Somebody said, I don't want to call out people. Why do I always do that? Somebody said that. Somebody laughed when I said H. But I think H is the correct thing. So tell me, I'm not going to say H. You know what I'm saying? So feel free to correct me on what it is. Anyway, I've not recorded in front of camera in a long time. So this is freestyle. This is everything. As I go along, as I'm authentic, as I'm organic, I'm just going to show up and speak. You know what I'm saying? But I'm so happy to be back for season 4. This is the Perspective with Viv podcast. We are on top of things. We're happy. We've been doing shadow work. We've been on top of our game. We've been healing. I love the last episode I did on New Year's where I did that January reading, right? Oh my gosh, because it really, really sets precedence for the year so far. Like since January, I've been having such a good time. I moved back to Lagos, by the way. I know, right? So here I am building up the podcast on Lagos grounds. That's exciting because I've always said, listener, I'm a London and Lagos girl. I love both, I love both for what they have. So it's nice to be back for now and to put or have the podcast on a different like platform or different like grounds and build up an audience in that area. So let's see how it goes. But for my Londoners, hi, thank you for always being listeners, the UK people in general, because you guys are my largest percentage. Thank you for people in England, people in Wales. Thank you for listening. But I have to give a big shout out to the Americans because they're the ones that give the ratings. So thank you, Americans, for giving the ratings. Shout out to my people in Texas. Shout out to my people in Seattle, the DMV. You people are really, really a lot there. So thank you so much. If I've missed you out, don't worry. I'll call you next time. So where are we? What are we doing today? Today we're talking about how H is for healing, and I think we're going to have like an alphabet kind of like vibe for this a lot of episodes for this season. But I'm really excited for this season because this is season 4. Like we've been consistent, we've been growing. We have very good ratings. I used to feel very like shy about how I spoke and my voice, not my voice, but really my truth, because obviously we live in a society that wants you to modify your truth, but I'm not like that anymore. Like I'm not that person. I want to be honest and truthful, and I've changed a lot, which is why I said this was going to be the first episode of the season. Now there's one thing I wanted to say. I wanted to tell you that if we're really, really being honest, right, I realized that on this podcast I channel a lot. But in real life, I'm still that student of the teachings that I'm giving here on this podcast. So don't ever look at me like somebody that knows it all. I don't know it all, but I know how to tap into a higher power to bring the message that I'm meant to deliver to you. Let's just say that I'm channeling, all right? Because that's exactly what I'm doing. I don't know how it's going to come, but I know that when I go back to listen to the episodes, I'm like, wow, this is so profound. Like I said, I'm listening like a listener that is learning as well. So I realized that because, I went back to episode 1 to listen on the episode on rhythm and dance, and then I listened to a couple more episodes, and I was like that all these things I'm saying are things that I needed to imbibe last year when I was, living out my final year as in my 20s. And I wouldn't lie to you, like there was immense spiritual warfare last year for me, and it was coming from different places, and there were deep betrayals. But I don't take it as I feel as though one thing I realized was that yes, I'm a channel. Yes, I may be different online. Not that I'm a hypocrite. The thing that was lacking last year was audacity and willpower and determination to do something different, to be different, to go against what my nervous system is used to. Does that make sense? You can have a spiritual essence that is one way, but your ego overpowers that to keep you safe. And that's what has been running for a long time. And I found that last year was when that broke because I was like, I'm not showing who I really am outside, only when I'm on my podcast or if I'm in my art. Like my true self comes out through my art expression. Why not through my life? It doesn't mean that my life is like less spectacular because my life is amazing. But there are just a little bit of things that just needed that whole presence of your actual self to come forth. So last year being my Saturn return year made me know that I'm still hiding behind masks. I'm still trying to control how I'm perceived. Meanwhile, my real self doesn't care about how I'm perceived. So if I don't care about how I'm being perceived, I should actually ensure that I act from a soul place to kind of affirm the fact that I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because if you say that I don't care, you would act authentically as opposed to shrinking so that you play small, but you say you don't care. If I don't care, I will be the biggest bitch in the land and the message will be clear. And I don't care. So I don't care how I'm perceived being that person. You know what I'm saying? That's what I learned last year. So I think now I'm finally in this place where I'm very much more showing who I really am and standing firm in who I am on the podcast and off the podcast. Okay. So I was always right when I said that, oh, yeah, being Viv is like being my shadow side and being like my alternate self that shows herself on platforms. But like in real life, it's like I go back to being Faida, who is very like gentle and that's not really who I am entirely. So I feel as though there was a merging of selves from last year. I feel as though I went into the deepest, darkest parts of myself due to spiritual warfare. And I told you spiritual warfare is real. I went into the deepest, darkest parts of myself to bring out this beautiful phoenix here. It's like maybe when you sit down with yourself, you start to ask yourself, am I really hiding who I really am? You know what I'm saying? Am I pretending to be something I'm not to be accepted? But deep down, I looked at myself and I said, I really don't care to be accepted. I even have an episode on self acceptance and how you accept yourself first. You're the main character in your life. So for me, I would say that it has to do with nervous system break nervous system wiring. You feel like you have to think a certain way or be a certain way. Maybe that's how you've been to protect yourself. And then one year, your real self just says, I'm tired of playing this game. I really want to be who I am, and I need to play that game now. So that's what happened with me last year. And I feel as though now I'm at a place where I've let go of everything that doesn't suit me in my life in order to accommodate this new self that I've become. And one of the big things that came up for me was speaking truths. Because if you check out my music on Audio Mac, if you check out different episodes on the podcast, I'm always speaking about truths, using your voice, using your voice, using your voice. And yet, like having that theory, I never used that practice. I never was practical with it like that. So even as I say it now, I like that it's kind of like integrating into me because as I say it, I know that that's not who I really was. And I was putting myself under stress to be something I wasn't, that I'd pretended to be for survival. Last year was when I was meant to be shifting into thriving. You know what I'm saying? So last year was when I died and became reborn. And I said, let me tell you something, people. I want you to see who my real self is. I want you to see my real face. I want you to be aware of who I really am as a person and accept me for who I am. It is what it is. It's my world. You all are just living in it. And let me not lie to you. This world that I'm in, I'm enjoying myself. So if you're coming in, coming with benefits, coming with value, if you're not bringing anything of value to my life, can get the fuck out. It's as simple as that. Because you find, especially when you're somebody that has light, people want to be in your life. So if they're coming into your life, let them bring offerings, let them bring value. And you have to be very careful of people that want to be in your life because people want to be in your life for the benefits. That's why you have to be aware of the benefits that you bring to the table. And you have to be aware of whether or not the benefits that that person is bringing equals yours. If it's not, they tell them to leave. Boundaries. Your life is like your house. Be very, very strict on who comes into your house, physically and metaphorically. Because these bitches, they lack home training. Yes. So if they come into your life and they're acting weird, that's where the boundaries come in. You let them know that it's a strict household. We don't just do anything over here. Can you handle it? Can you not? If they can't, let them leave the house. Simple. Abandonment issues was something that I realized I actually don't have. And I say that because I just felt like all these things were programmings that were me. Number one, this whole thing of okay, let me not say my boundaries because if I say my boundaries, they would leave. Leave. You want to be in a place where you can take advantage of somebody and by them keeping quiet. You, you know. I wish that I tested all these theories like out there, but the kind of person I was, I love to reach my limit before I make that change. And that's not the kind of person I am anymore. Like that was the final time of me reaching my limits. And I realized something. I actually have high tolerance. So I'm instead of having high tolerance for rubbish, which I do not have anymore, I have high tolerance for pleasure. I want to be pleased in such a large magnitude as opposed to the opposite in which I would be in situations that honestly I'm there for a reason, like to learn a lesson, right? However, like I don't need to be in situations where I'm not having fun anymore in order to learn a lesson. I would rather have lessons from fun situations. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I learned. But the abandonment issues, like some people have this idea that, oh, if I put up a boundary, if I say this and stand up for myself, this person wouldn't stay with me anymore. Okay. That's a good thing because if they are angry at you having boundaries and they want to take advantage of you, and so let them leave. I ask myself, like, I'm really a loner. Like, I enjoy my company so much to the point where, like, I'm always looking at people like, what are you bringing to the table? Because, man, I love my company, you know? So I thought to myself, and I'm like, if I love to be by myself, why am I afraid of people leaving? That's not me. So that's what my Saturn return. One of the things my Saturn return taught me, like a lot of things that you think are you are not you. They just came from somewhere else. You're a loner, so isn't it better to put up a boundaries pretty quickly and see who wants to stay regardless? Hello? I don't mind being alone. I don't mind. I'm not lonely. I love my company. Like I act like an only child. I enjoy myself. Like I realized that I always take it back to upbringing. Back when I was younger, a lot of people were very forceful in wanting friendships with me. Ew. Why? Do you get what I'm saying? Okay, okay, I can tell why. But I say why because you weren't really going to bring much to the table. You just wanted to be there for the benefits. You. So I feel as though because I was very picky, based on also being autistic and very selective, like maybe I was then forced to conform to giving space for people to come in to my life and be friends. That's not who I really am. Who I am is number one, I scrutinize a lot, I observe a lot. There's a reason why I want to come in here, and everybody has a reason. That's fine. What are you bringing to the table? Number one. And are you bringing something of value? Number two, are you just coming here for the benefits? Hello? Because everybody's an opportunist these days, and that's why I saw a lot of last year. You can just be minding your business, and somebody wants to force themselves into your life because they see you for who you are, and maybe you don't see yourself, and that's why it's important to know your worth. Hello. So healing is knowing your worth. Healing is having strong boundaries. Healing is knowing who you are. Do you get me? It's about knowing that you're fantastic, knowing that you are amazing. I would even say list out the things that people benefit from when in your presence. What it is about you that adds to people's lives. Then you ask yourself what you're looking for in terms of other people because you need people that match up to you. You are the blueprint, baby. That's what I realized last year. I was like, that, see, I'm too amazing to have ordinary people around me. You have to bring it. You have to bring more things. You have to be amazing. I bring things to the table without trying. Are you bringing things to the table, or are you just coming to eat for free? A lot of people want to eat for free. A lot of people want to use you as a stepping stone to their next break. Hello? I'm just saying. Be aware of that because most people are opportunists, especially when you're shining and minding your business. Because I've noticed that in this life, when you're minding your business and you're peaceful, you know, L squared people want to come and deter you from your path to cause chaos in your life, etc. When I say L squared, because now we have to start doing glossary in this season. L squared represents losers and low lives, and I just put L squared, so it's not as if my language is harsh. You get me? Because I know that can be quite harsh. L squared people, yeah, the L squares. We'll call them the L squares. The L squares come into your life to try and turn it upside down because they don't have lives of their own. Hello. So it's about boundaries, it's about protection, it's about self preservation. I learned that as well last year. I learned that your voice is really your sword. I learned that you have to have the guts to do something different instead of playing the same storyline that you're tired of playing, instead of wearing old skin that you're tired of wearing that you've outgrown, you know? Yeah, there's a disgust I'm feeling, but that disgust just addresses the fact that I'd outgrown certain things and put myself in that line of wearing it one more time. You get me? But I love that I'm also speaking about it because as I speak about it, it's like I'm healing through it. I no longer feel the need to heal through it, but like to talk about it now as a case study makes me feel like I'm integrating the lessons. So that's how I feel. Um, how do you know you've healed? I don't think healing is linear. I don't think you ever fully heal. Depends. I feel like I don't like to prolong the healing process for certain things, but I know that I'm somebody that tries to hold on to anger a lot because I wasn't allowed to express anger back in the day, even though now I can freely express it. So you have to teach your body how to do new things, like letting go of things, anger, resentment, anything that drags you down, to just allow yourself to channel that into better things. Like, for example, if I'm having residual anger from things that happened in the past, I tell myself that the past no longer exists. You won the situations. In the present moment, you're a winner. In the present moment, there's nothing that is going on that is similar to what you went on in the past. Forgive the past, be happy that you took that wisdom. You've won that. You've won over that situation. You're a better person now. You're in a better place now. You talk to yourself, let yourself know things. You wire your brain. On top of that, okay, this anger that I may have, how do I convert it to something successful? For me, I started looking at my all my avenues of creative mediums, podcasting, painting, music. Okay, we have all these avenues and mediums to transfer this anger into to create work that is going to be productive, work that is going to make an impact. From that impact, there's something better that's going to come from it. That's how I've transmuted the anger. Okay, so honestly, it's important to not hold on to emotions. And this is me telling you because that's who I used to be, or that is who my other self is. Because me, as this person, I feel like I let things go pretty quickly. So I feel like you have to let things go. Don't let stagnant emotions stay in your body. Don't let bad emotions stay in your body. Your body is a temple, is a palace. It needs the best emotions. It needs the highest emotions. It's not about bypassing. No, allow the process to happen, but don't hold on to it for so long, especially when you're already in a new timeline, in a new chapter of your life in which things are better. In this new chapter of my life, things are beautiful. I'm enjoying myself. I've never enjoyed myself to the point that I've enjoyed myself like this peaceful, blissful, beautiful. I would love that for you because you're no longer holding on to things from the past. But don't worry, it's a process. You just have to talk yourself through it. What else? Whew. I'm learning a lot about the law of assumption. It's making me heal because it's making me know that I'm the operant power in my reality. I'm the main character of my reality. I create the life that I want for myself. It also says that past doesn't exist. Everything that's happening is happening right now. You can revise things that happened in the past to suit what it is that you want. It's really about the power of your mind. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but the law of assumption is something that is enabling me to know that I have a lot more power within than I've been made to feel, or that I've programmed myself to think that I don't. I feel like I'm very powerful, as a person without trying. And it's about utilizing that power in the best way. So that's what is making me feel like I'm healing, because when you know your power, when you know your strengths, when you know who you are, when you're standing in that power, when you utilize it in the best way, you really, really expand your spirit. It's like you're doing soul work. You're acknowledging and affirming and honoring your spirit. And that's what you need to be doing with actions that you take. You need to be moving from that place of, am I honoring my spirit, or am I betraying my spirit? This outside reality doesn't really exist. It's a reflection of what is going on inside. So once you change the inside, the outside will change as well. You can't change the mirror reflection without changing yourself first. I love that. That's what I learned with the love assumption. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that it's enabled me to change a lot of things about myself, especially that thought process, because you have to ask yourself where certain thought processes came from. For me, I would not lie, where I was coming from was a place in which people were afraid of me being in my power. People were afraid of me speaking my truth. People were afraid of me being honest. That fear is not meant to carry. I'm not meant to carry anybody's emotions towards me being in my power. That's you. If you're looking for somebody to carry your emotions, go to your mom, you know? But I carried that as an empath to then make me feel like, oh, let me just shrink. And to whose benefit? The L squares. And one thing about L squares, they're very audacious. They will go as low as they want to go to in order to get what they want. They never win though, but they will really go low. So don't be afraid to see how far they will go, for real. That's why they're called the L squares. Even though I want to say that's why they're called low lives and losers. Yeah. I love it when I say that. I love it when I'm very much pinpointing who the fuck they are. Low lives and losers. People that have nothing going for them. People that don't even have ambition. They don't have drive. They don't have purpose. They don't know what they're doing with their lives. They have no morals. They have no home training. They have no standards. They have no ethics. They have no integrity. They would steal anything that is in front of them because in their minds they are entitled to it. People that just don't know how to be. You know what I'm saying? People that just, yeah, low lives. So what I'm saying is that you have to know your power and don't be afraid of utilizing that power. Don't be afraid of utilizing that power, whether it's in a position at work, who you are in terms of your family, whether you're the firstborn or you're the lastborn. Everybody in terms of who they are has a power that they can lean into. Yes. What else? Who you are in society, your achievements, your talents. For example, I'll use myself as an example. I'm an exceptional person, and I'll say it's obviously, the world hits when you know yourself and then you prop yourself up. Me, I love doing that, and I highly encourage you to do it. They call it self concept. All these key things that I said: law of assumption, revision, self concept. I suggest that you research on it. Very, very interesting work. This is what has been helping me to heal, as well as praying, as well as knowing that God has your back, as well as knowing that your ancestors ride for you, that you don't have to do anything because you're anointed. And when people try to come for you or try to deter you off your path and you pull back, that they're coming for that person, it's a beautiful thing to know. So, yeah, what I'm trying to say is these things are helping me, and I'm putting God at the center of it all. You get me? It's not just me. So, I love that. But what was I trying to say? Love assumption, resumption. What was I trying to say? Power. Power in society. Okay, for example, using me as an example now, I'm a woman that is highly exceptional. Yes, I am. And honestly, I played that humble card so much. But now I realize, who am I playing that humble card for? Is it for people or for me? I need, okay, the kind of person I am, I'm not the kind of person that carries her achievements like, oh yeah, I do it, I achieve it. I'm grateful. I keep pushing. That doesn't mean that people don't see you like that. So when you carry yourself small, forget other people. Are you honoring who you really are on paper? For example, me, I'm an Ivy League educated person, yes, with a first class degree. Okay. I'm very talented in creative mediums, different creative mediums. I've won awards. I've gained achievements in different things. I've had exhibitions. I've had interviews on social media. I have a podcast. I do music. I paint. I do tarot reading. I entertain. I do things. I shouldn't carry myself as an ordinary person. I shouldn't. On top of that, forget achievements. What about natural essence? It's still interacting with people that I realize are magnetic. People are drawn to me. People are intrigued by me. I'm a people person. You get what I'm saying? I can control a crowd. I can talk in a crowd. I'm confident because, like I said, I don't care about what people think of me. Which is why, if me not caring what people think of me should be utilized in the best way, I carry myself as somebody that needs to be addressed in such in a different manner. You should address me with respect. I'm that girl. But you have to carry yourself as that girl for them to treat you like that girl. You have to enforce boundaries like that girl for them to affirm that you're that girl because people will push and try. Don't berate or look down on people for trying. If they're audacious with their trying and their attempts to put you in a box that is not really you, be audacious and attempt to break that illusion and show them that there's no box that they're going to put you in unless it's a box that you want to be in. Hello? Think about it. So what I'm saying is that if you're that girl, you tap into your strengths and weaknesses and you utilize the strengths to know how to carry yourself. Address me like the person that I am. I'm that girl. But I'm not going to say address me. I'm going to carry myself like the person that needs to be addressed like that girl. Hello. I hope I'm making sense. Know your power. Know your power. From knowing your power, you know your worth, you know your value, you know what benefits you're bringing to the table. So then when people are trying to come into your life, because people try and force themselves into your life, be careful of those ones that are trying to force themselves. They have an agenda. They have an agenda. And I'm not going to lie to you, like, sometimes some people are forceful. It's not everybody that I know you can hear some noises, right? Hold on. It's not everybody that sometimes it may seem like one way with some person in terms of they're acting like a suspicious person, but other times that's what who they've learned how to be human from. It's important to know. I don't know how you would know. I always rely on God because I've had situations in which it looked like I was a certain person, and it's only been two situations, which goes to show that I'm not that kind of person. But I took those situations as learning situations to remove any residue from learning how to be human from people that don't know how to be, people that don't have those ethics, that don't know how to make friends without being forceful. You know what I'm saying? So there's some people that they act like those weirdos that have agendas. And there's some other people that don't know how to be and are acting like that, but that's not who they really are. So let's not judge everyone. We have to just be intuitive. That's what I'll say. You just have to be intuitive because there's no other way to put it. Like for me, I've always said that even if I acted a certain way with certain people, the girl that I am is, I'm sure the essence shows, and the girl that I am as well. Like God is around to say, no, that girl is not who you think she is. So you know what I'm saying? And at least for me, when I learn from situations, I ensure that I don't act the same way the next time. So me, like I said, humility and self accountability, that's me. That's part of healing. Like you have to hold yourself accountable. A lot of people stay where they are because they cannot afford to look at themselves like somebody that did something wrong. And that's not my way of thinking. I'm not a dummy. Because it's not okay. Because you know what I would say, he's only a dummy. You're not ready to grow. And where I'm at, I'm not that kind of person. I've made mistakes. I've done certain things. I could have done things a certain way. However, I would say that it's my nervous system that is used to doing things a certain way, and the idea of doing something differently is so scary to my brain, you know. But that's where audacity comes in, that's where strength comes in, that's where courage comes in, you know, that's where determination and willpower comes in. You have to push. If you're very used to being relaxed, it's hard. So I get it. But it reaches a point where you're like, nah, I have to push because if I don't push, I'm going to keep living the same life or going through the same patterns over and over. You know what I'm saying? So you just awaken at one point and you're like, nah, I need to be better. So self accountability and what's the right word? Humility, you know, they go hand in hand, but you also have to know your power. Sometimes some people are afraid of tapping into their power because they've seen people use their power in a bad way. Mm-mm. There's always a good way of using things. So if you've seen the bad way, still find a way to use the good. You have to use your power in every situation because people are, the L squares are hoping that you don't know your power. But the truth is, I've always known my power. I've just been like, let me just spare you. I don't believe in sparing anybody anymore, unless it's somebody that my heart is called to, somebody that is empathetic. If it's an L square, I can't do it. I have to show you who I really am, you know? Don't spare an L squared person because they wouldn't spare you if it was them. They will make sure that they even do times 10 of what it is that you wanted to do. Trust me. I need you to know that it's the people with empathy that you spare. And I feel like sometimes because the L squares are so insecure and they fall apart at the littlest thing you do, to set a boundary or to call them out or to put them in their place, whereas they do so many things they're really pathetic. I feel like some people tend to not want to do that because of their reaction. Do it. They live for reactions for you when they do what they do. Maybe push, prod, or say condescending things. Do you get what I'm saying? They want your reaction. Feed into that by making them be the ones to react, by calling them out with truth, by holding them accountable and stand firm even when they throw a tantrum because they're children. Ew. Now that I realize that they're children, I'm like, if a child is throwing a tantrum, then I say, okay, you can have your way. Ew. You will never have your way, child. Learn your lesson and act accordingly. They need to be disciplined and you need to be strict in the disciplining. That's important. Yeah. What else? I can go on and on about power. You have to know how to use it in every fucking situation. I feel like one thing about me that I'm happy that I'm learning with Nigeria is that here you see people use their power and their status to benefit and to not their benefit. So far this year, I've just seen people using their power for good. Do you get me? With great power comes great responsibility. So it's the responsible ones, thank you. It's the responsible ones that use their power in a good way. The ones that are irresponsible do not. Okay. For me with Lagos, it's kind of like, okay, so where does your power lie? When you know that, you know how to utilize it. And I'll give you a good example. There might be a culture clash for those that are not familiar with how things work here. But in Lagos, you have people. Okay, a young woman like me that is the firstborn of my family, I'm the person that runs the house when my mom is not running the house. What does that mean? The people that work in the house, the people that make food, people that clean, the people that, you know, drive mom to where she needs to go to or dad to where he needs to go to. I'm the one that coordinates things behind the scenes. What's your power there? You're a small madam. What does that mean? What's your responsibility? Just because these people are working under your family, there's a respect that you still need to give them. What that's you using your power, a great responsibility, right? There's a respect that you still need to give them, and there's a way that you need to act that they still need to respect you. Just because you're just trying to be too uppity doesn't mean that you should be so relaxed to the point where they see you like that, oh, I can get away with. Once somebody thinks they can get away with something with you, you know what I'm saying? There's a certain level of respect and responsibility, and there's a certain way you need to carry yourself for you to have that kind of respect in that house, for you to be respected, and for them to know that you're somebody in power as well. That is what I have, and that's what I taught myself. So I'm not really going to go into details. Maybe later on when I talk about the difference between Lagos and London, but that is learning about how to utilize your power. Okay, you still have to be disciplined so they know that they shouldn't cross you, but you still also have to be open in a way that they can come to you if there's a problem. Okay, and that's kind of person I am. There's a balance. I'm respected. I can be approached for situations. I can be spoken to about situations. I can mediate situations and settle situations. You know what I'm saying? That's who I've become. And I learned my power. With that, I carried it outside. When I'm outside, I'm in places. Lagos has this particular culture. I don't know how to explain it. When we talk about Lagos and London, don't worry, we'll talk about it. So basically, like, in Lagos, sometimes you see boys, these are grown men that are hustling on the road. There's a way you have to carry yourself for you to be respected or you to be addressed with respect. Okay. There's a way I dress here that I'm addressed as somebody that's a madam. Okay. They call you mama. When they call you mama, it means that they're seeing you as somebody that is carrying herself as a madam, despite you being young. Okay. With that respect that they've giving you, right? It means that there are some benefits that they will give you because of how they perceive you. Meaning that, okay, they could watch your car for you. They could give you discounts if you're supposed to pay for something. They would have this certain protection over you based on the way you're carrying yourself. There's a certain way that they relate to you, which is important on the streets. Let's say you find yourself at the beach or you're parking somewhere that there's not enough parking and somebody comes in to help you. You know what I'm saying? Is you carrying yourself as such, that power. So if you're then doing Please don't call me mama. Carry yourself as a small you. No, carry yourself as a body bee. So with that as well, you being given that respect, then you act in a way that enforces that respect or affirms that respect. Okay, you respect them, you give them the money, maybe you give them a bit more than what they wanted, or you buy them a snack, you give them something just to affirm that, to enhance that respect. It depends though. It's not everybody you gauge because it's about discernment. But there's a certain way you act that then affirms that this one is a madam. It's about power. So power is sexy. Oof, power is so freaking sexy. You have to know your power. You have to know your power. And I feel like this is a very good place to stop. Age for healing. Things that fall under it: self accountability, humility, wisdom, power, self worth, self value, discernment, knowing what you bring to the table, and using yourself as a blueprint for other people that want to come into your life. Boundaries, sexy, using your mouth, truth, carrying yourself as the real body that you are, knowing your achievements, using everything that you have in terms of strengths to fashion the way you carry yourself as a person in society. Respect, self respect, and respect for other people, responsibility. Yeah, that is where I stop. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed this episode. I've missed recording. Yes. So I'll see you next time. If you really like this episode, reach out to me on Twitter at It's Vivacious Viv, or leave a rating on Spotify and Apple. Where else can you find me? I have an Instagram account, Ethereal5. Find me there. Do whatever you want to do. Let's talk later, okay? Bye.